Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest edition of the Woke Bros. Of course, I'm your co-host, Big Waz, aka Wazni Lambre, and I'm joined by my brother on the west side, Nando Vila. What's up, bro?
Doing good, doing good. Excited to be on the pod, baby.
Yes. Let's pot it up. So today's show, we're gonna generally keep it light today. There's no major news outside of wars in Europe and like just your typical craziness. But I did see a couple of funny ass news items that I wanted to talk to Nando specifically. One relating a real estate development in New York that I just find to be absolutely just comical, hysterical, insane, every whatever. And then but first, man, I wanted to talk about this stuff that's going on with Elon Musk and Twitter. You guys know Elon Musk, aka allegedly the world's richest man. He's allegedly worth $270 billion. He's the founder, CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, and he's kind of a bit of a Twitter troll. And he's gone on Twitter to do stuff like drive up the price of Dogecoin, which we all know was a pump and dump. We've seen him do all kinds of ridiculous, crazy things. But the latest thing he's done is he's purchased a 14% stake in Twitter for $3 billion. Initially, it was reported that he's going to join Twitter's board, but then there were like some stipulations that he had to like basically behave in like a fiduciarily responsible manner. And so he backed out. And there's all this like ridiculous back and forth. And he's threatening to buy more stock. Like he's threatening a hostile takeover, which just doesn't really seem like what he's actually trying to do. It's just all so weird, so stupid, and so funny. Like these dudes are so bored. They're
Yeah.
so rich for no reason. I'm just confused by this whole story, Nando.
If you had $1 billion, how much time would you spend on social media?
Phew. Phew. None.
Like if you had one,
It just
yeah. Like I would be like,
I guess
oh,
perhaps
cool.
I'd still be on Hinge and Raya. I guess
Right. You'd
theoretically.
definitely be on Raya. Or you'd get access to the one that they don't let you hear about. Like
Exactly.
there.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah,
Theoretically, I'd
but
be
that
doing
doesn't
that, but
count. That
that's
doesn't
it.
count.
Yeah.
That doesn't count.
No,
Maybe
I
you'll scroll Instagram every once in a while or
yeah, yeah,
whatever. But like, will you be like responding to people on Twitter? Like for your bad
it doesn't
take
make any
on
sense.
on the NBA or whatever. Um, like no, that's what's so crazy to me is like if I had $1 billion, I can think of so much cool shit that I'd be doing all the time. Like, oh, it's a Tuesday. I'm gonna fly to Paris and just like and have like this incredible, I don't know, like do cool shit, not be
Yeah.
staring at my computer screen all day responding to Twitter eggs. But yeah, I mean it's just like a very indicative thing in our time that we live in this political reality in which we can be mere bystanders to the battles that go on amongst the billionaire class. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like Elon Musk like decides, oh shit, like I'm not even gonna blink and I'm gonna buy 10% of Twitter and get on the board of directors and then just like, make all these like changes that I want to do. And we could just be like, yeah, okay, yeah, this is like one of our most important public forums. This is where like political discussion happens. This fucking weird ass billionaire could just like come in and just change it or do whatever the fuck he wants with it. That's normal. Like that's our life. That's our life these days. I mean, this from the article. It's so funny. He was like it was like the the filing followed. This is from the New York Times. Wait, no, sorry. It was he said that he wanted to take out the W
W
in
in Twitter.
Twitter and to make it because Mr. Musk leaned into that freedom after his decision was communicated to the company on Saturday morning. He proclaimed on Twitter that he was in, quote, goblin mode and suggested changes such as removing the W from the company's name to make it more vulgar and opening its San Francisco headquarters to shelter the homeless. He later deleted some of the posts. And it's good. It's good that our billionaires are just epic meme bros, Like that's
Yeah.
what it is. That's the political reality we live in today.
It's just one of these weird things. And then, elsewhere in the article, they explain like Twitter's right for this kind of thing. Like this couldn't happen at Facebook because or Google, because those founders, Zuckerberg was like, no, I'm always going to own 51% no matter what. Therefore, I will always be the god of this company. Like nothing will happen that I don't want to happen. That's just the way he's always structured it. But like, and Twitter's been, party to hostile takeovers, venture capitalist activism before, right? That's what got Jack Dorsey fired from his role as chief executive officer. Which, like, what is he actually doing in that role? Would he actually be doing in this role these days, Nando?
Yeah, I don't know. Like Twitter, like how does Twitter make any money? Like like I guess they have ads and stuff.
Yeah, they
Like,
got ads now. Like their ad rev isn't. It's the funniest thing, Nando. Like Google and Facebook make so much from ads. Like it's so ridiculous and astronomical that Twitter is making like billions in ads a year, and people are like, "Oh, this company's poor. It makes
you
no
fucking
money."
suck. You fucking suck. Yeah. Oh man, it's just. I mean, the Elon Musk. I mean, the other thing that reminded me of like just how weird our time is that Elon Musk has 81 million followers on Twitter, and I'm like, the fandom of Elon Musk I find to be so mystifying. The people who are like, man, that guy is fucking cool. I love that guy. I want
I
to be like
mean,
that guy.
he's done one thing. He's made cars with batteries in them that are pretty cool. Like that's what he did. And and no disrespect, we've had remote control cars since I was a kid. You know what I mean? This guy wasn't exactly reinventing the wheel here. But no,
Yeah,
it's like I think people are attracted to his personality, which makes it all the more weird.
yeah.
He's a doofus.
He's a weird doofus guy. Yeah. He like, I mean, also he's just like completely like incoherent. He has like, you see his like Twitter responses and you're like, what the, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about anything. Like, it's so weird that this guy is like the evil genius of our time. Is considered like this like rocket science genius. And like, you look at his tweets and you're like, this guy is an idiot, like it's just, it's so bizarre to me that he's the guy that owns all of us. You know what I mean? That we're just fucking swimming. We're just living in the world that Elon Musk can create whenever
Again,
he wants.
the innovation was battery powered cars. Like it like I don't know. I did like the Tesla's thing. I keep saying it every time chance that I get. Like this shit is a scam. Like this whole thing, we're going to find out. Like there is no space program. Like nobody's going to Mars for real. This is all just an elaborate joke, and no different than what the with the WeWork shit and all of that. And they're gonna make the Elon Musk TV show. It's gonna air on Hulu, and we're all gonna tune in like idiots. But like this. I just think it's hilarious that this dude could just blow $3 billion on a troll. Like that's
Yeah.
crazy. I think what he was doing was like, I can buy this shit. I can change your behaviors. Fuck you guys telling me how to tweet, threatening to close my account, blah blah blah. This is what I can do because I have access to this. Like $3 billion, guys,
Is nothing
is nothing to this
for
guy.
him. Yeah.
It's nothing. He
Well,
he just blows it on again like like literally a meme.
yeah. I'm always wondering why. He could just do this. Like, why doesn't he just like buy the New York Times? Like, you can imagine like
Right.
Elon Musk just buying the New York Times and being like, oh, hey, now it's going to be called the Poop York Times, like or whatever, like, I'd be like, isn't that awesome, dudes? Like,
And by the way, there's nothing to stop him, and there's nobody that's
no,
gonna rein him in. And I feel like we've talked about this in the past on this show. Like our overlords used to be like better.
yeah,
Like as fucked
they
up
used
as
to
that
have
sounds.
a sense of civic responsibility that's
Yeah.
completely lost now.
Right. They
Yeah,
understood the concept of a public trust and was just like, no, like those disgusting Jews on the LES, we got to make them parks. Like
yeah.
ugh. I just can't stand the wops, but come on, we got to get them some jobs or something. Like they had a sense that like, yeah, this underclass, like we got to do something for them. Like
Yeah.
they're so unrefined, and we got to try to elevate them at some point here.
Yeah. We'll
But
fund a
these,
library,
yes,
like some maybe some museums, so that
right.
the rabble can
Give them some
get a
culture.
taste of yeah. Elon Musk is just like, hey, dude, wouldn't it be cool if I can't even do his stupid accent, but like, wouldn't it be cool if I just called it Titter? Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
It's really stupid. It's just something I want to talk about with you because it just so perfectly encapsulate just the weird ass times we're living through, specifically as it relates to the overlords. Because I think, man, these guys every day expose themselves to be just some of the most ridiculous people. Like we talked about Schultz, just comparing Starbucks employee benefits package to the blanket that his forefathers had to wear during the Holocaust in the concentration camp.
It's the same
Like
thing.
this,
It's the same thing.
this,
Wow, it's
this,
the same thing.
yeah, clearly. I mean,
Literally.
clearly, Starbucks is saving people from starvation and death.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy. Like the more these people expose themselves and how they really feel, and just the contempt that they have for everybody who isn't basically them. It's ridiculous, and it's pretty jarring to watch it play out. But yeah, this is really why I wanted to get to today, man. I don't know how I came across this article in Architectural Digest, Nando, but
Yeah.
it's called Five Reasons the Affirmation Tower is New York's most exciting real estate project. And, if you're listening to this show, you've been inundated with this sort of new agey type of speak that's big on the internet now. Affirmations and just saying your goals and mood boards and all this new agey shit that's really popular amongst our cohort, right, Nando? Like you see this type of shit all the time. So cheers, my brother. Tell Misha I said what up.
I
So
will.
when I see Affirmation Tower, I'm like, oh God, what is this? What is this? And I just want to read to you some of the highlights of this. This tower has been developed by a guy named Don Peebles. He's the chief operating officer at the Peebles Corporation. And he's one of the biggest real estate developers in New York City. He happens to be a black dude. Whatever, whatever you do with that information what you will. Just know that like the developers and the real estate interests in New York are extremely powerful. They're pretty hegemonic at this point. Like what they want happens, what they
Yeah.
say goes. So I just wanted to read to you, Nando, just a couple of the highlights from the quote unquote the project that is the Affirmation Tower. First, not only is the statuesque mixed-use building developed, built, and funded by Black and female-owned businesses, Nando, but listen, this is the Affirmation Tower, but its tenants will be minority entrepreneurs, with the
Oh.
exceptions of course, this is my favorite part, with the exception of the local NAACP offices among Affirmation Tower's earliest tenants. So
This is good. This is good, dude. This is good. This is what this show was made for. This is what this is why you and Mike started this show. That is good. That is good stuff. I did not. Okay, I gotta admit, guys, I was a little busy today. I did not prepare as much as I wanted to for this show, as much as I typically do. And Waz just sent me this link, and I was like, I sorry, I didn't have much time to prepare or anything. He's like, no, better that you don't know what it is, and
because
you
you're
just
gonna love
learn
it.
about it in real time. But woke real estate development, was not something that I was ready to process.
Oh, it's
You
like the
know, like
wording is so perfect, right?
yeah,
It's like it was developed by black people and women who are black, okay? Which again, like they never want you to think of black people as being stratified by class. Like they never like media doesn't they just don't acknowledge it that there is a black poor and working class, there's a black middle class, upper middle class, there's a black elite.
yeah,
Like that's just a fact. So when they say this building is built and funded by black and female owned businesses and its tenants are minority entrepreneurs, it's just okay. This hyper elite dude who's basically owns assets that's got to be close to $1 billion. No lie, you can look this dude up. He's basically a
yeah,
billionaire. um Again, and its tenants are going to be black entrepreneurs. They don't say nothing about the pricing, how much it costs. Black elites make a building that black elites get to live in. And if you aren't a black elite person, you should just be happy about it. It should just make you feel good that this
yeah.
exists at all.
It's out there. It's it's out there. It's for you, kind of, but not really. The I love this. It was designed by Ghanaian British architect Sir David Ajayi. Ajayi. It's some fucking British dude who's knighted.
Yes,
The
yes.
fucking,
But he's black, Nando. But he's
he's black,
black.
but
So that should give
like,
that you should feel all the affirmations from knowing that black people are capable of architecture. I mean, what the fuck? And it gets better. I wanted to there's more to go. A project like Affirmation Tower is long overdue for New York City. This project will be a beacon of diversity for generations to come, says Peebles. Says Peebles. Another quote from him. Again, just hear what this billionaire cocksucking black dude has to say. A project like the Affirmation Tower is long overdue for New York City. The project will be a beacon of diversity for generations to come. Like, what exactly is long overdue? Did rich black New Yorkers not have a place to stay before this?
yeah. I mean, this is just so sad to hear that, because what's really, like, this is like one of the funniest stories I've ever heard, like, in my entire life. Like, this is incredible that this exists. I love it. But the sad reality is that, like, this is what passes for a like an inclusive, quote unquote, housing
Yeah.
policy. Like,
Mhm.
it used to be that, you wanted to do public housing that was, that was built by the state and publicly owned, and the rents were fixed by, not with the profit motive in mind, but with the motive to house as
To
many
house
people
people.
at a decent rate. And New York City, like, built a bunch of public housing more than most other cities in this country. Yeah, that's out the window now. Now you just need the guy, who's going to hire the fucking knight who's a black guy,
Right.
and the
He's gonna
NAACP office is there,
right again,
and
staffed
yeah,
by a bunch of black elites again. Like we
yeah,
know this, and
yeah,
Nando, like we know how this project happened. This dude was
yeah,
like, "Yo, y'all want to get in on this building? I'm a black face. I'm gonna put faces all on it. We're not gonna have to worry about red tape because woke shit is getting rubber stamped all the
yeah,
time. We're gonna call it Affirmation Tower. This shit gonna skyrocket in what it's worth, et cetera, et cetera. And boom, we did it. Like we can just say we put black people in here, black rich ass people in here. And again, in New York City, where we're just basically have run out of places to build essentially
yeah.
in New York City. And what we are building, we're building for the richest among us. And again, like it's not like black rich people don't have anywhere to live. Like they have all of these ghost towers on the west side that is
But
the
but
only people that own.
Was if they live in the like if they live in like the rich apartments in Tribeca or whatever, then they might get microaggressed by the rich white people,
Oh yeah, somebody might ask them about their dreadlocks, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
right, and then all the benefits of being rich just completely wash off of them, Nando,
yeah,
because the minute you're
yeah,
microaggressed, like every other great thing about your life disappears. I want to keep going. People says this: people of color and women make up a vast majority of the city's population, but that representation is not reflected in the current architectural and development landscape. It is all too rare. It is an all too rare opportunity for us to make the world's most iconic skyline more inclusive than it's ever been before.
Like, what does that mean? How can you make the fucking skyline more inclusive? Like, this is like literally meaningless. That's like literally meaningless. Like, I don't know. Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I love the idea of like that they're gonna do like the skyline, make it more inclusive, and it's gonna be like,
Bro.
you know, a building with
Bro.
like, you know, with like a Rastafari head, and then like another building
Bruh,
with like a sombrero, you know, like another building with like an Asian peasant hat, you know.
Bro,
Yeah,
we're
and it's
not
like,
done.
look
We're
at
not done with the fun facts. You're gonna love this one. Out of
it.
respect for the 2,996 people who lost their lives on one of New York's most tragic days, the team decided to make Affirmation Tower slightly shorter by spire height than One World Trade Center, a stunning tribute of remembrance and compassion.
A stunning tribute.
This is a Dave Chappelle skit.
This feels like a Dave Chappelle skit. This definitely feels like a Dave Chappelle skit. I love the idea of like a victim's family, like someone who's, you know, family members of someone who died in 9/11 being like, can you believe the black guys, they made a tower that's taller than
taller than the Freedom Tower.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like this, like the tone deafness, the just like, bro, and this is why like the show is called Woke Bros. Like this shit is so dumb. Like when you just stop and think about it for 2 seconds, like this is insanity. This was not so ridiculous tidbit. The project's partners agreed that they give more than 30% of the construction work to minority and female contractors. That's nice. All right, 30% of the jobs going to minority-owned companies, female-owned companies. That's fine. Okay, that's actually seems like a benefit to people who aren't, you know, already part of the ruling class. All right, cool.
The best thing they could do is just like only do union, you know, like, you know, if the janitors who clean the building, all that stuff, like that would be a more progressive,
they're serious about the New York City being a melting pot of economic and cultural inclusion, especially when it comes to the sites that represent the city itself. And I want to present to you the very last tidbit from this article. This is truly the best for last, Nando. It's an ode to Black culture. The boxes are clad in floor-to-ceiling glass windows that sit within a milky white terrazzo facade whose shape mimics Afro pigs. A subtle
Wait, what is that? What is that? I don't know what that is. I don't know Black culture enough to understand what that is. An Afro pics? What the fuck is that? Oh, like literally like an Afro pic. No way. This is like this reminds me of Don't Be a Menace to South Central while drinking your, you know, like
Nando,
like have a movie
this
like
is
that.
in the pages of Architectural Digest, bro. Like, let me read this to you again. It's an ode to Black culture. The boxes are clad in floor-to-ceiling glass windows that sit within a milky white terrazzo facade whose shape mimics Afro pics, a subtle tribute to Black culture.
It's extremely subtle. It's like the most subtle thing I've ever seen.
Peoples admitted that he sees himself in the shape as he carried such a pic around during his early days in New York throughout the 1970s, Nando.
The Afro pic is a subtle, like what? Like that is the least subtle thing I've ever heard in my life. That's like literally, that's what I'm saying. It's like literally like out of like a parody movie, like a Don't Be a Menace or something.
Listen, this is all you need to know, Nando. If you're struggling in East New York, having trouble paying your rent, if you're having problems in Brownsville, putting food on the table, getting childcare for your kids. If you're having trouble in any of the, you know, 40 projects in Queens, whatever the case may be, just know that you can take the train to Manhattan, look at this new building that the Black elite gets to, that they've made an ode to themselves,
Yeah.
and you get to feel affirmed by the Affirmation Tower, Nando. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it
By the
lovely?
Afro Pick Tower. I
Oh
think we're
my
just gonna call it
God,
the Afro
bro.
Pick
Like
Tower.
this,
That's
like it's perfect. It's perfect. And that's why we try to sort of highlight these things here on the show, man, because these things don't get presented to you like like the interests of this Don Peebles dude. They do not align with rank and file black people. Like he has a material class interest, and that's what he's interested in. Like he doesn't give a fuck about the lives of people who aren't part
yeah.
of his social and class strata. Like what the fuck? Like, but again, in media, this dude, he got a Breakfast Club interview, which I didn't get to watch, but I think I might hate watch at some point
You
here.
gotta watch it. We gotta do like a live.
We might have to
We
do a
gotta.
live. We might have
Yeah.
to. We might
Yeah.
have to. I might have.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
might have to. I might watch this and do the same thing and like do the highlights of it so we can watch it
Yeah.
together.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, like this dude is going to represent all of Black America in every media space that he ever enters, and he's gonna be like, nah, the path to greatness as a Black person is pure and utter capitalism, nothing else. Look, I did it. I'm doing it. I'm even making affirmation towers for other Black people who made it. Like, what are you talking about? It's just crazy.
Oh man, it's too good. I'm so happy I didn't read anything about this before I hopped on. That
Bruh,
was
it's
the
insane. It's a roller coaster. And again, like just so people understand, and we talk about it all the time, like these are the cats that are gonna go on Joy and Reed's show and talk
yeah.
about the white privilege.
Oh, Joyanne Reed's gonna get an apartment there.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. 100%. 100%. She gonna have at least one apartment there.
Yeah, the penthouse.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
easily.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, dude, it's just. I mean, we talk about it all the time. It's kind of like the project of our show is that like we want to we I think we believe in our hearts in a sort of inclusive and tolerant worldview. But if you genuinely believe in that, like if you genuinely care about other people, especially people who are different from yourself, which is what the definition of tolerance is, or any sort of it's that instinct that you may have is being completely cynically warped by the power structure and weaponized against you to keep you down. Like this is just a way to obfuscate the real class differences that exist in our society. Like that's just plain and simple. Like that's what it is. Like it's to create the divisions around race rather than class. And which is not to say that racism doesn't exist. Of course, racism exists. But the way to overcome it is by fomenting class solidarity, not by fomenting racial division, right? Like that's the easiest way to counter racism. There's been tons of studies about it all over the place that show that like class solidarity, when people who are different races look at each other and they're like, yo, we're we're getting fucked by the same dude,
Yeah.
like we shouldn't hate each other, we should hate that dude, you know
Yep.
that's the guy that we should hate. That's what overcomes, and that shared struggle, the class struggle, is what allows people to build bonds of solidarity beyond their own cultural, ethnic, or religious, or whatever, insert whatever thing into that. And these kinds of projects, the sort of, for lack of a better term, woke projects, I mean, like, is a way to whitewash the evil murder button that like a real estate developer has to play. Like a real estate developer wakes up every morning and presses the murder button. Like, and so does the CEO of Raytheon. Or you were asking me the other day, like, who is the black guy that Biden nominated from Raytheon to be the Secretary of Defense? So, like, oh yeah, Lloyd Austin. He wakes
Yep.
up and presses the murder button every day.
Mhm.
Um, And like the fact that they're a black guy doing it like means literally absolutely nothing. Like it's just like
Nothing.
it's not
It
a
makes
victory
no
of anything.
difference. Doesn't
Yeah.
make your life feel better that a black guy is the one who's fucking you over if you're black. Like, in fact, it makes it worse. The betrayal is even worse when it's the black guy doing it.
Yeah, it's the Sam Jackson character in Django, you know.
There you go. Anyway, that's our show for today. Make sure you read that article in Architectural Digest. There's plenty more in there. Great stuff in there. Make sure you check out all the other Counter Dings offerings. Become a Patreon at patreon.com/counterdings. We're out of here. Peace.
Later.